introduce a bill soon to remove all the Confederate statues around Capitol Hill. There are like 10 or more of them there. Senator Ted Cruz, though, says the U.S. shouldn't try to erase dark chapters of its history.
The original sin of America was slavery, and we fought a bloody civil war to expunge that sin. And I think that issue is going to be resolved differently, community by community. I don't think it's beneficial to go through and try to sanitize history and try to erase the Civil War.
I agree with Ted Cruz. I don't think we should erase history. I'm not suggesting we should erase history. I'm suggesting we should remove the Confederate monuments. We should not celebrate this part of history. There's a difference between remembrance and reverence. Yes, we should remember the past. We should remember the Confederacy. We should remember the Civil War generals who fought for the Confederacy, but we should not revere them.
That's CNN political commentator Keith Boykin. There are actually 700 Confederate monuments across the United States. Some are being removed in part in response to the violent scene in Charlottesville. Now get this, some drivers have already been in standstill traffic for almost 24 hours now and counting to get to the best viewing spots for the solar eclipse. What? That's Monday. And look at the backup, at least some in Oregon are experiencing. Police there say 800 cars were backed up for 30 miles yesterday. Well, it's going to take more than 800 cars, isn't it, to fill 30 miles? Anyway, yesterday, as people were making their way to a festival there, so the festival kind of surrounds the event, but the festival obviously begins beforehand.
I've heard it's going to be horrendous.
I expect a lot of traffic. The last we heard, our friend was 5 miles away and they hadn't moved in an hour.
So anyway, it's so bad officials are telling folks you better stock up on food and water for your trip. More than 1 million people are expected to travel to Oregon, just to Oregon, to see the eclipse. And you know, it goes all the way across the United States.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
I'm trying to do the math. 800 cars.
Same here. I was like, I don't think it takes more than 800 cars.
They must give themselves a lot of space in between. Maybe you tighten up, you won't be jammed. I don't know.
Hi, Bob.
Hey, good morning to you, Robin. Worst morning commute. I'm going to just pound you again because it was around the New York City Metro. Now it's the LIE in Long Island. You can see the heavy downpours overhead, and that's where it's been essentially for the last couple of hours. So we'll continue to press in that direction. But if you look at New York City, at Manhattan, things are beginning to clear out just a little bit. So you've got the gray skies below it. You're looking eastward. You're looking westward. There is the clearing skies. And you think that'd be good. Unfortunately, not going to be good because it's going to destabilize the atmosphere again. And that means more severe weather. Rain showers, thunderstorms around Jersey. We're also looking at the flash flood watches, all the areas that are shaded in green. And then the heat's back. Baltimore, Washington, down to Fredericksburg, and then picking up in North and South Carolina. Heat advisories. It is going to feel like about 108 to 109 at times later this afternoon. Rain showers are out there. You're going to see the destabilization again later today. With that cold front coming in, that means severe weather. And unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be right around the major areas of New York, Philly, Washington, and Richmond. 35 million people today have a slight risk of severe weather. Hailmakers, that's what we're calling for. Let me show you this. The forecast for the eclipse. Now, it starts on Monday about 1:15 Eastern time in Oregon, goes all the way out to South Carolina coastline by about 2:45, and then off into the ocean. But what about the main forecast concern? Obviously, it's clouds. Here's a computer model. Computer thinking clear skies, northwest. Clouds pick up a little bit across the middle part of the country, getting into Missouri and Illinois, and maybe some cloud cover around South Carolina and North Carolina. But that is about it. If you look at it, that's a pretty good forecast for most of us, so at least we've got that working for us. Hey, Fact Sun 3, here's your personal forecast for Marietta, Ohio. 86 degrees, morning showers, but look at that picture from yesterday as the clouds boiled overhead. A lot of wind out there, too. You can see Old Glory kind of hanging out there. Wow, good picture. At Bob Van Dillen on the Twitters, get your personalized forecast. Robin.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Another CEO is slamming President Trump's response to violence over the weekend in Charlottesville, even though his dad is friends with the president. Awkward. And I don't know, what would be your reaction if you saw James Corden put on a musical right there in Rush Hour?
It's time for a getaway. The Lincoln Summer Invitation is on. Now get our best offers of the season on the Agile MKC, on the versatile midsize Lincoln MKX, or go where summer takes you in the exhilarating MKZ. The Lincoln Summer Invitation Sales Event. Ask about complimentary pickup and delivery service center. Right now, get 0% APR plus $1,000 summer savings on the Lincoln MKX, MKC, and MKZ.
If you battle chronic back pain or joint pain, turn it off with Icy Hot Smart Relief. Among leading brands, only Smart Relief is indicated to relieve chronic pain. Imagine the difference it'll make in your life. Turn off chronic pain with Icy Hot Smart Relief.
Okay, class, we'll be picking up where
Get ready for a more vivid window into your games with a stunning 4K display and graphics that bring all the action to life.
Peter, are you still with us?
The Dell Inspiron 15700 Gaming with a 7th Gen Intel Core i7 processor. Your screen, super powered. See it in Spider-Man Homecoming. Dell, as real as it gets.
Crohn's disease.
You're more than just a bathroom disease.
You're a life of unpredictable symptoms. Crohn's, you've tried to own us.
But now it's our turn to take control with Stelara.
Stelara works differently for adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease. Studies showed relief and remission with dosing every 8 weeks.
Stelara may lower the ability of your immune system to fight infections and may increase your risk of infections and cancer. Some serious infections require hospitalization. Before treatment, get tested for tuberculosis. Before or during treatment, always tell your doctor if you think you have an infection or have flu-like symptoms or sores, have had cancer, or develop any new skin growths, or if anyone in your house needs or recently had a vaccine. Alert your doctor of new or worsening problems, including headaches, seizures, confusion, and vision problems. These may be signs of a rare, potentially fatal brain condition. Some serious allergic reactions can occur. Do not take Stelara if you are allergic to any of its ingredients.
We're fed up with your unpredictability.
Remission can start with Stelara. Talk to your doctor today. Janssen wants to help you explore cost support options for Stelara.
If you just sign that first
I'm
one
so
there.
sorry. I don't feel comfortable signing that.
I don't get the math here.
Was this the same car we talked about?
What's this dealer preparation fee?
I'm so sorry. This just is not
what we talked about.
Without the car salesman. Carvana.com, the better way to buy a car.
Just like magic, Progressive gives you options based on your budget.
You ever feel like cliche foil characters scheming against a top insurer for no reason? Nah. So, why don't we like Flo? She has the name your price tool and we want it. But why? Why don't we actually do any work?
Why do you only own one suit?
It's just the way it is, underdeveloped office character. You're right. Thanks, Bill. No, you're Bill. I'm Tom. You know what? No one cares.
Closed captioning brought to you by Act Advanced. Kills 99% of plaque germs for a fresh, clean mouth.
Megan's smile is getting a lot of attention because she uses Act mouthwash. Act strengthens enamel, protects teeth from harmful acids, and helps prevent cavities. Go beyond brushing with Act.
All right, back to our breaking news story. Pope Francis has offered prayers to the victims of Barcelona's terror attack. Vatican spokesperson says that the Pope is watching closely and wants to express his closeness to the whole Spanish people, particularly the injured and the families of the victims. 4 people are now in custody after deadly attacks in Spain. Now, we've just learned that 3 people in custody are of Moroccan descent. 1 is a Spaniard, and CNN's Arwa Damon tells you that the arrests come as the officials are beginning to identify just now some of the victims.
We're beginning to learn a bit more about who these victims were. One, for example, was a father, and he had a 5-year-old son, a baby that was just a few months old. They were here as a family on vacation. This is an attack that, yes, shocked Spain, but the population here, to a certain degree, was bracing itself for this type of violence. It has also reverberated across the globe. Among those who were killed and wounded, people from 24 different nations. In the square behind me, Plaza Catalunya, there was just a moment of silence, and then the crowd gathered here started chanting, "We are not afraid." This has sadly become something of the norm across Europe. It's the 6th time in recent years that terrorists have used a vehicle as a deadly weapon.
17 minutes past the hour. Somebody tarred and feathered a Confederate monument in Arizona. This is the Jefferson Davis Highway Memorial. It's in Apache Junction, and cops are still looking for whoever did that. It happens hours after another monument in Phoenix got spray painted, and they cleaned it up since then. But lawmakers are weighing the options about 6 different Confederate monuments across that state. Now, a volunteer firefighter in Indiana who served in that role for nearly 70 years is being remembered as someone that you could look up to. Former Fire Chief Walter Seymour passed away this week at the age of 88. He was the state's longest-serving volunteer firefighter.
Anytime he was with that truck, he just glowed. Anytime with the fire department, he would just glow.
I can't even put into words what that man meant to me. He took me under his wing and treated me like a son.
Seymour Station says that they'll keep his gear in the same place it always was. Heads out to every volunteer firefighter. You think about smaller towns where that is your fire crew, and people volunteer to do that. That's amazing. In health news, if you have peanut allergies, there may be a pill that could make it possible someday for you to eat the nuts. So for 18 months in this study, children with that allergy were given a pill that was filled with a mix of probiotics and just little amounts of peanut residue. Researchers in Australia say that 2/3 of them built up tolerance to peanuts eventually and showed no symptoms after finally being able to eat them. Now they say the pills seem to reprogram the children's immune systems.
Robin, I just can't tell you how many moms are jumping up and down about that because they maybe don't have to worry that some other kid is going to bring the wrong snack in and that their kid might die.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
I think about planes sometimes that nowadays you have to ask, anybody on board have a peanut allergy before anyone passes out nuts or whatever? Or I guess that's why we see more pretzels. Another CEO is speaking out against the president's response